Okay, guys, we are now live. I'm just going to post on Twitter, let everyone know that. And what we'll do, yeah, I had to disable links last week. There was some like bot attack that kept posting these links, so I deactivated it. So only I can post. I'll look into if there's a way where I can like approve people, where people can post once I've approved them. But give me 1 second. Okay, now live. Learn about tools, programming, and procedural generation in Unity 3D. Okay, so I'm thinking what we could do is start off by talking about. We'll watch Treeform's trailer. Let me enable music here. And we could talk about it, because this is I've been thinking a lot about game trailers. So, Istrol Lid. Sure, yeah. Matt Muirfish, you'll have to just send me the number on the back here. Just post this. All right. What do I think of this? Well, all right. Hold on. Let me raise my mic volume. Matt, we've just the numbers. Yes, so let's talk about this. I really like the music. I do think it can be a little bit faster. The pacing of it feels a little... The music feels a little bit on the slow side. I do like the epicness of it, but I feel like it could just be a little bit faster. I wonder if having the text here, maybe having it be like go to black and then the text and then cut to this might feel a little bit faster. Because I think I might have missed some of the first few down here. I also wonder if maybe having some kind of... I think you could do with more of these shots. Like just at the beginning. I think maybe thinking of it as like a story would be great. There's no, I guess the one thing here is like there isn't any narrative components, and I don't know if you do have it, but maybe because you do have victory in the end, so there's like a narrative arc, right? But maybe having it be like letting the player know that they're the commander or something at the beginning might help. So you could do that, and then because the thing is you also show the design ships here, right? So I don't know if just showing ship design is the most interesting start at the beginning. So yeah, Matt Mirrorfish also talks about a little bit more rhythmic editing. Center screen, hold for a beat, then show game footage. And is there a website? I think you might want a website at the back so people can find out more about the game, as well as what platforms. That's some of the feedback. So now let's take a look at Matt Mirrorfish's game, Monarch Block. Let's let it load. We'll full screen it. Whoa, hold on. Okay, so Treeform, I think you'll want to put that at the end. Definitely put it at the end. Cool, that was pretty cool. I like the sort of like super calm stuff at the beginning. I wonder if maybe having it be I wonder if you could start off with more like enclosed spaces. I don't know, like maybe having, I feel like there's a narrative of the space getting more and more open. I like the music too with this one. Yeah, I do really like the visuals. I would say when it starts, I like this. But I do start to lose a sense of what's going on here. But yeah, I feel like there may be a little bit more build-up with kind of what's happening. Would be cool. But yeah, then I had one feedback which occurred to me, which is more specifically the font here. The A is really, the at is really hard to see here. I think just because they do this like, it's not the full circle, but that looked a little weird. I think maybe just, I just think there's like, it's not actually, I think this beginning is fine. It's more like at this stage it sort of plateaus out. Like, it goes crazy, but then it just sort of like keeps its momentum and doesn't keep building. So like, okay, so see, this is starts at like 32. It starts going crazy, right? And we're like, crazy. But then like, this isn't as crazy. This is like, now it's crazy again, crazy, and like, not as like, I feel like there should just be like, these ones feel a bit slower compared to, just because the moment before you had like super crazy, like I'm not sure what's going on there. Like I would say here I'm not sure what's going on. Like I see now there's that, but it's not really, it doesn't feel like a bigger build-up. I almost feel like these parts with that pink sphere shrinking should come before the crazy camera movement areas. Just some thoughts. Alright, let's get back to work. But yeah, that was very cool. Treeform Istrolid and Matt Mirfish making Monarch Black. Great name, by the way. So, okay. Let's talk about this. So we have generate. Alright, well, what I want to do is I've been working on this tree editor tool. And it's very cool. What I want to show you guys. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for sharing your trailers and letting us talk about it. So, a few things. One is you can see this trailer here. I mean, not the trailer. This tree trunk. Alright, so we've color-coded, we have the debug colors on, so we've kind of color-coded this piece as it's being grown. So light blue means that it's a horizontal piece. Dark blue means that it's a vertical piece. Yellow means that it's splitting. So you can see here, right, it's split into two, so that's where this is, again, splits off, right? We got... So basically the blue one is the continuation, the yellow is the split off. And then green means that it's a transition trunk. So this means that it's going to grow into branches are going to grow from there. So branches don't grow from anything except the green pieces. So what you can see here is I can set the volume bounding box. So what this does is it kind of puts like a soft limit so that basically the tree cannot grow beyond this. So you can see that it's no longer what happens is it'll grow one branch out, but then it stops it. So this gives me an ability to kind of like control the size. Now this isn't filling up, but what I can do is I can increase the upward growth probability. So yeah, now you can see that these are kind of tending to grow a little bit longer. Maybe I can increase the maximum vertical trunk length. You know, if I sort of want a taller tree. Usually I like it down here. And of course I can do, you know, it's like... So for this, since I've lowered it, I probably want to lower the... But yeah, you can see it sort of growing in to fill the space, which is very helpful, and it's kind of exactly what I wanted. So let's go back to this. And this, you know, this gives me, I can control different probabilities. So like, for example, if I say 0 split trunk probability, then we're not going to get any trunk splitting. So we're always going to get that one branch only, one trunk. So, right, but whereas if I go with like 1, then we get lots of trunk splits. Hey, Treeform. Yes, glad to hear that. Keep us posted on the project. Transition trunks means, so the transition trunk is always a split trunk that forms, and this is saying like how, oh yeah, see, Pop do 5 grid. That was what we were getting last time. So I'm gonna go ahead and just ban them. Hey, main GI, you are here. Welcome back. So you can see that what's going on here is this grows into the trunk piece. So that's one thing we're going to work on fixing. Oh, we're going to use Moobot for modding now. I'm tweaking that algorithm. So, but yeah, this thing goes right. So we need to do raycast to prevent this stuff happen. The other thing we've got going on is so transition trunks are always coming from the split. So there's a certain probability that it'll become a transition trunk when it splits off. So you can see here now, every time it splits, it turns into a transition trunk. Then finally, we have the orthogonal split probability. So basically, when it splits, it can either do two opposite ones or an orthogonal one like this. Right now, we have, when we set it to 0, we're only getting opposite splitting. What we can do is, if we set it to 1, then all the splits are orthogonal. I'm trying to do one. I'm like learning more about that, but there's also the Nightbot. So anyway, we have this line. Anyway, so this is our tree. Let's go back. By the way, tree form, Matt Mirrorfish. Do you guys have release dates for your games? So anyway, so I want to talk about also some of the problems that we have at the moment, which is that we get a little bit too many going in the same direction like this. We're not getting enough. We're not getting enough transitions lower down, so that needs to happen. Not yet. Hoping for 6 more months. Okay. I don't need to wear this anymore. Let's see, what's another problem? Okay, let me shrink this down a bit. Okay, yeah, like you see this here, I don't want 3 of them. Right? That's a little too many in the same direction. So what we want is we want to limit to 2. Hey, Ryoku the Slayer. By the way, Ryoku the Slayer, you were telling me about a green light project. Is this, we were actually looking at trailers earlier. I just wanted to share what Ryoku the Slayer posted. I think. Yeah. Wait, I think you removed it? Never mind. Oh, damn. This is edit time. So yeah, we can see it's not runtime. Alright, alright. Well, you know what? If you want feedback on the trailer, we kind of just looked at Matt Mirrorfish's trailer and Treeform's trailer, so well, we'll let them. Well, yeah, if you want kind of feedback on that. I actually thought it was kind of cool. You don't see too many. Although I guess it looked more like a Kickstarter campaign trailer, because usually those are the ones that have people talking. But all right. So yeah, I want to limit the right. Like I don't want too many going in the same direction. I want to have not just 2 splits, but also 3 splits. So then the 3rd split would actually be would go up. What What else is there? There's okay, like there's this problem. You see here, what's going on is that this is not being turned into a transition one. Yeah, cool. That's I totally understand that. And I think, of course, what's going to happen. So yeah, that's too many, right? That's 4 in a row. So the other thing is, I think I might want some more splitting later on. We want to increase the probability of a split generating at the beginning. So I might do a checkbox that's like guarantee split at start. Yeah, sure. You'll have to just send me the numbers at the end of the video, though. Main GI, is it the Ryoku? Yeah, like, yeah, so right now what I want is, yeah, Ryoku the Slayer, you'll just send me,
I got a stand-up comic for you. My next guest has been making you laugh Sunday nights on HBO Silicon Valley as well.
Yeah, so I don't actually, it's not quite, we haven't done the branches yet. Oops. Hold on.
Enemy ships. Each kill rewarding you with experience points that you can use to upgrade your ship's weaponry, stats, or even call in friendly AI support. At its core, Alpha Strike is made to feel like an arcade shooter minus on-rail or side-scrolling gameplay. So if you're looking for something without the crazy realistic flight controls and slow action gameplay, then you came to the right place. You'll start with your fighter and frigate that will act as your spawn point and main base for upgrades. You'll also have a countdown timer to let you know when the next wave is coming. There are many features that we plan on implementing, some that are possible with your support. In the upcoming days, we plan on adding more ships, weapons, environmental hazards, and an alien faction. With your support, we can also add in online co-op and versus mode using Steam, with workshops for all you modders out there. Be sure to check out the project details for more information on our future plans. Thanks for stopping by and giving our project a look. If you like what you see, please share the project link with your friends and check back for more updates. If you have any questions or just want to say hi, leave us a comment or send us a message. We're looking forward to hearing from you guys. Thanks again for stopping by, and we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, so I think one of the things is maybe having, I think when you're talking too, you can have some more gameplay, showing just some like UI as you guys are working on it. Yeah, it's a super early, it's not really like a trailer, it's more just let people know about the project video. So yeah, I mean, it tells people about the project. I think just having some more like, I think when you were listing like stats, different kinds of ships, I would just post some of that.
Call in friendly AI support. At its core, Alpha Strike is made to feel like an arcade shooter minus on-rail or side-scrolling.
But yeah, anyway, it's called Alpha Strike. This is Ryoku the Slayer's project. Keep an eye on it. Yeah, there were these bots that kept spamming, so yeah, I mean, it's still super early in the project. I think, as Matt Mirafish says, it is very space shootery. But yeah, you know, I mean, that's kind of how it was for me, right at the very beginning of my game. Like for the first year and a half, everyone was like, "Your game looks like a generic first-person puzzle game," and then we kept working on the visuals. So yeah, I definitely think it's worth the time to kind of like keep tweaking that. And it looks like from the video, you guys are still pretty early in development. So there's still a lot of room to tweak that. So yeah, we need to limit the number of continuous horizontal branches that occur. And then also so yeah, that's a handmade tree. So we haven't put the branches in yet, which is why there's a little bit more, it doesn't look like it's growing as much. We'll worry about that a bit. So having multiple, also vertical splitting as well. And then making sure that the end is always transition. Right, I feel like. See here, that should be a transition. I think that's really hard about making tools for a yeah, thanks, Matt. The thing that's really hard about making tools for one designer is it's really hard to find a good cost-benefit analysis. Oh yeah, that I'm not cared about. I don't care about people clicking on the links. I mean, seeing the links in the chat. I'm mostly, the issue is more accidentally clicking on something that takes you to malware or something. Oh yeah, okay, so see right here, that should be, oh, here, this is what I wanted to get at. So yeah, sometimes you see this is a transition piece, and this should be a transition, right? Because right now the split, it will always be split even if it becomes the last one, so it needs to know that this should be a transition piece. And of course, what's really great with this is though as we generate each piece, it's the parent of the previous block, so that actually makes it super easy for us to go ahead and delete things. So there's going to be a bit of pruning, trimming after the tree is built. All right, so let's take a look at that. Oh yeah, Ryoku the Slayer, when, so yeah, do you guys have plans for a Kickstarter? And also, how big is the team working on it? All right, where am I going with this? Let's get to, all right, here's the code. Okay, so, well, let's talk about the code, right? So this is it's a big mess. We have this generate tree that's called, what we do is we clear the branches and we start off with this generate regular trunk. And it comes down to here. Actually, I'm gonna, this whole thing is kind of a big mess. So what we'll do is we'll just start working on this kind of, and I'll talk about it as I'm going. So right now we have this function. It's called generate split trunk, right? And it takes the two growth directions. It randomizes them. So one is the continuation, one is the split off. So you can see right now the reason why it needs to check to see if this is a transition trunk. Right, so basically what it's saying is if it if this piece is within the tree bounds, we generate this. If not, we don't. But I think this should actually be this. Oh, I see. Okay, so, right, if it's within the bounds, we will generate this. Else, we make a transition trunk, I think. Wait, how do we know? So let's see. In generate regular trunk, right, and also if it's the last piece, if it's the last depth unit. So, okay, let's go back here. If it's, so if it falls outside, if it's not contained, and if, or else. You know what, we should do it this way. If, let's just copy this down here. Okay, so what it's saying is, if it is the last one, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Yeah, it's good to get as much of the groundwork out of the way as possible. All right, so basically what we're saying is that's the max depth. The depth counts, like, it increases every time you split down. So there's a max depth. So it's like, okay, you're only gonna have 15 units or something that we grow into. So if it's on the last one, or if it goes out of bounds, then what we should do is we should actually generate a tree trunk, a transition trunk. So yeah, we would, if it's, yeah, well, I've actually been rewriting the game I've actually rewritten the game a few times. If it's the last piece, or if it's going to be outside of bounds, generate Yeah, because so what we want to do, what we're doing here is we're making sure that, because it stops growing if it's the last piece, so that this is what this part does, or if it goes outside of that, that box volume that we've set, then it's going to be the last piece. It's not going to grow from there. So we just want to make sure that it's a transition trunk, so it's going to grow branches, and then otherwise we just kind of continue as a regular trunk. So if we do this now, we should stop seeing blue trunks at the end. So I don't know if there's a really good way to test this except trying to create a whole bunch of trees and seeing what happens. Okay, yeah, you see we aren't seeing any here. No, that is fine. So we do also want to kind of get rid of clusters like this. Yes, now I am. I mean, getting it set up was a bit annoying, but now it's like we can think about a lot of high-level stuff, and that's a lot more interesting. So, alright, so we fixed that one problem. Now we need to fix this problem of making sure that the split-offs, that this would also be a transition. So, right, and this is happening here. And I'm pretty sure this is where it's going on, so what we should say is yeah, hold on, okay, so if this happens, what we would actually do is we would just hit return and we could skip the rest of this. So, you know, what would you do? This would be, so actually this would not be the next trunk position, because what we do want is actually, we want this split trunk start position. That's the one we're testing for. So, and then of course this would be, the parent would be trunk. Yeah, so it would be pair. This would, then we would be split trunk start position. Yeah, I think it'd be the last one, that's the parent. Yeah, I sort of err on the side of being explicit because otherwise, if I come back to it, I'm not going to understand anything. Split trunk growth direction. Split trunk growth length. And yeah, this would be new horizontal and new vertical. And if this works, return. So yeah, we would just skip the rest if we are actually not needing that. So let's see now. Let's see if this is going to work. Aha! See, that should have been... Well, that might have been yellow. Let's try this again. Well, looks like all the ends are green, so... That piece is yellow. Oh, you know what? It's because this... It's what the next one would be. Step. See, I want to comment this out, right? Because normally what happens is I generate the tree form and then we get the information for the next trunk. But this time, because we actually need to know if the piece we're creating is going to be a split piece, that we need to do the calculations for the next trunk before. So we actually do this step after we get the calculation for the next trunk, because we need to know if the end of the trunk piece will, if the end of the split trunk piece will be out of bounds. So what this means is we would actually be using, we would be testing for next split trunk position. And I'm just going to be like, note that we are checking if oh yeah, we should name this "You're in my script" tree form. So transform. All right, let's see if this. So now this should work, right? You see this problem because basically we don't want to. The start position of this is here. We're actually testing to see if this is contained. Let's shrink this down. Maybe that might lead us to more. What the heck? Oh, okay. So well, that's worked. We've just simply the transition trunk has grown in the opposite direction. width. So I'm not sure why this transition trunk is growing in the opposite direction, because I believe it should be, we should have eliminated that. Oh, fuck. I know, so it's an interesting problem. So you see this? You see this piece has actually grown. This is the child of this piece. So the green piece is the child of the yellow piece, and the green piece has just grown in the opposite direction. So the green piece is growing the opposite direction, and normally what we do is we eliminate that. And I was wondering, like, how is this happening? Because I thought we eliminated. The reason why it's happening is because when we calculate the green piece's direction, we haven't gotten this, and we actually need this. The reason why we do need this up here is because the reason why we do need this here is because what it does is it adds this piece to a list. That's why we pass it down. So you see it adds it to this new horizontal trunks list. And when it's generating the next split growth direction, it makes sure that it checks to see if it's, it checks the list, right? So what happens is, but since we didn't add this one to the list, it, like, that direction wasn't in it. Yeah, I could do that. That is true, but how do I know it's an outermost piece, right? Like, how would you know it's an outermost piece? And no, this isn't generated at runtime. Yeah, speed's not that important. Yeah, so it uses it at the end of the list. So we do need to add this here. What I think I might do is just add on top, like, what we do is just make sure that if else, it should just be if this else, it definitely generates a transition trunk. So it'll go outside of bounds slightly, but what that should mean is the yellow would always result in when do I bound checks? Before generating each piece? Yes, it does it before generating each piece. Hey, Vexo Gaming. Yeah, I'm making a editor tool to generate trees. Okay, yeah, so see, this is what I wanted, right? We just get one more, because this is like a soft bound thing. Why am I using long pieces and not squares? Well, this is what the tree is like. This is a handmade piece. So you can see this is being done. I'm not sure how using cubes would be simpler. If it goes out of bounds, it stops. Now, With the split, we add an additional bound. Wait, I know. We can do it the previous way. No, we can do it the previous way. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What we were doing before should have totally worked. Yeah. Wait a minute. That should have been fine. Yes, this should have been fine. This is not the problem. Yeah, no worries. We will see you later, Ryoku the Slayer. Yes, yeah, like if it enters... That's right. That's actually a good point, Matt Merrifish. We could do that. Though I do have to keep track of all of those. That's actually not a bad point. Although, Matt Merrifish, your point though, that only generates transitions when it's outside, and it'd have to do like a two process. Like right now, mine actually lets me generate transition trunks in a number of ways. Yeah, this should totally be fine. You know what? Yeah. No, actually, what I was thinking when a post pass doesn't work is because I actually want to test it as I'm growing out. You know what, let's do this. See this temp? Temp. Temp. Wait a minute, this is so stupid. This is fucking... Yeah, we'd actually need to calculate these. There we go. That's what we wanted to do. Hey, Tasty Shrimp Platter, you are here. Hi, Sight. Welcome. Treeform, I actually don't want that many. The reason why we're not using cubes is we actually don't want that many bends. So it's actually easier to do these pieces. Hi, Sight, the game is going well. We are basically working on editor tools to make the process of building levels a lot easier. So we have a tool that now does line drawing very easily. It's saving us a lot of work. Right now I'm making a tool. So this right here, it's a handmade tree. It's great, except it took me an hour, and if I want to change the size of it, it just takes forever. So what we're doing now is we're writing a tool to kind of generate trees for us. We have the basics there. I'm just trying to kind of do a bit of refinement and tweak out bugs. So this is the trunk. It's a little bit bigger than I think how a normal tree would be. Like, why is... Right now, I don't understand why this is yellow. This should be green. Right, because basically what we're doing is we're taking the split trunk start position, right, and we add the split trunk growth direction times the split trunk growth length, which should be the end of it. And we're like, does it contain it? Because that is what's going on here. Yeah? But isn't it asking... Negative view. I am not super frustrated yet. This isn't that bad. It's more, I'm just trying to figure out, like, because this is saying, like, this is what we're doing, the next trunk start position. Oh, wait, this is wrong, I think. No, wait, this is generate regular trunk. So we're inside this generate split trunk function. And what's happening should be right, like if tree bounds does not contain wait a minute. No, so this part is good. Right, so as we work on this piece that would be yellow, we take the trunk end position, which is the trunk end position is the split trunk start position. Doing in this function. Because we're not adding the trunk size, that must be it. Okay, I think that's the only thing. Okay, you know what? So I think it's because we're not adding the trunk size. So yeah, it should be plus trunk size. Okay, I think that's it. It does seem like we're generating more than necessary pieces. But like, basically what I want eventually is like a trunk bounding box and a volume bounding box, so it's sort of, there's two bounding boxes in there. Okay, I think we fixed it. Because, yeah, I'm not seeing any yellow ending branches. Okay, that's good enough. So yeah, you know what, that's good. So that looks like a good tree. So what we're going to do now is we are actually, what we are doing is we are building out from the trunk out. So we haven't, this is still part of the trunk. We're going to do the branches next. And what we're going to do is we're going to build out a red box in the area. So let's see, it's gonna be a lot like this. Let's go to definition. Okay, so this is our function, right? So this is generates this tree geometry, and what I want is a generate box branch volume geometry. So you see what it does is it gets a parent, it gets a start position, it gets a growth direction, it gets a length, gets a scale. Scale is 1 for the trunk, 0.5 for the branches. It gets a color. It gets a list of horizontal trunks and vertical trunks to add to, and it gets a name. The name is optional. So you see this is a probuilder object, right? We get the probuilder generator, that's a cube. We get the 1, we multiply by the scale. Again, 1 for trunk, 0.5 for branch. That's the start position. We get the parent. We use the debug color, so we color it. This is where we're coloring each vertex. We set the name, we take the face, and then what we do is we actually extrude the face. In the direction, what we're doing is we're extruding the face, or we select the indices from the particular face, we extrude it in the direction of growth by the length. So it just pulls that out. And then we refresh. And this actually is great because we don't have to deal with like weird matrix, and we always know which way's up. So then we add a box slider. So what I'm going to do now is and then it adds it to this trunk tree data. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take this parent. We also need a start position and a grow direction and a grow length. We don't need the scale. We're gonna copy this piece. I'm gonna copy this over. So we don't need the scale. We don't need color because it's always gonna be red. And we don't need these. Yeah, I don't think we need those. And we will name it. We'll give it a temporary name. We'll just call it. We'll call it branch volume box. And of course we need to. So yeah, and we're gonna copy this stuff at the beginning. We're actually basically just going to use this exact same thing, except that's going to be, we're not going to use this scale. That is going to be piece name. And we're going to extrude from this face. I don't think we need a box slider, so I'm going to now, alright, and then we want to return piece. Return piece.transform.